We want 4 tickets, please. We want 4 tickets, please. Isn't she wearing? Isn't she wearing? Then he wouldn't complain from 5 a.m. Then he wouldn't complain from 5 a.m. Your wife is a docker. Your wife is a docker. Who is helping us? Who is helping us? Can't I always encourage you? Can't I always encourage you? He swam in the pool. He swam in the pool. Will you conclude immediately? Will you conclude immediately? His half-brother was a reporter. His half-brother was a reporter. He will finish his book by the end of the week. He will finish his book by the end of the week. Is her friend a weightlifter? Is her friend a weightlifter? Need to get up in the afternoon? Need to get up in the afternoon? Because you don't know. Because you don't know. I'll bake at dawn. I'll bake at dawn. His half-brother was an actuary. His half-brother was an actuary. Won't you borrow this afternoon? Won't you borrow this afternoon? Do you want to ask a question before we start? Do you want to ask a question before we start? Hormone. Hormone. I don't notice anything in particular about it. I don't notice anything in particular about it. Our half-brother was a songwriter. Our half-brother was a songwriter. To change. To change. Could he remember? Could he remember? You shouldn't judge. You shouldn't judge. I'll be waiting for 30 minutes when the train arrives. I'll be waiting for 30 minutes when the train arrives. I'm going to the movies tonight. I'm going to the movies tonight. Okay, then I don't do anything. Okay, then I don't do anything. I will go to the doctor for control and treatment. I will go to the doctor for control and treatment. They won't hate. They won't hate. They shook hands tightly. They shook hands tightly. Nature. Nature. It shouldn't matter after one night. It shouldn't matter after one night. You must not touch the hot stove. You must not touch the hot stove. Can't be appreciated after 5 minutes? Can't be appreciated after 5 minutes? Was his half-brother a gymnast? Was his half-brother a gymnast? Can I use this? Can I use this? Which is your favorite team? Which is your favorite team? He walks to school every day. He walks to school every day. Have you seen a good art exhibition lately? Have you seen a good art exhibition lately? He is very young and very new to our industry. But he is open to learning. He is very young and very new to our industry. But he is open to learning. You can take. You can take. Hadn't he grown? Hadn't he grown? I have too much self-confidence. I have too much self-confidence. His siblings are translators. His siblings are translators. Can you lend me your pen? Can you lend me your pen? They are not discovered. They are not discovered. We told you. We told you. Couldn't he have been a professor before? Couldn't he have been a professor before? We could notice. We could notice. Can they insist right away? Can they insist right away? Cake cookies. Cake cookies. I would reflect. I would reflect. That contact. That contact. I can't believe I'm awake. I can't believe I'm awake. Do you have any food allergies or intolerances? Do you have any food allergies or intolerances? Firstly, he would announce at dawn. He would announce at dawn. Can we survive? Can we survive? Doesn't he fly? Doesn't he fly? Shouldn't he have preached at all? Shouldn't he have preached at all? You should not enter at sunset. You should not enter at sunset. They will adopt a child. They will adopt a child. Am I taking advantage? Am I taking advantage? She sang a song at the talent show. She sang a song at the talent show. Was my uncle a mechanic? Was my uncle a mechanic? I don't want to lose my machine for losses. I don't want to lose my machine for losses. His neighbor was an esthetician. His neighbor was an esthetician. Was your uncle a trainer? Was your uncle a trainer? Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? I can't detect any change in their behavior. I can't detect any change in their behavior. They talk on the phone every night. They talk on the phone every night. Doesn't he yawn at noon? Doesn't he yawn at noon? Was your half-sister a designer? Was your half-sister a designer? We went to Paris for our honeymoon. We went to Paris for our honeymoon. Shouldn't we always be caregivers? Shouldn't we always be caregivers? You may not see. You may not see. Caressing. Caressing. Rarely miss. Rarely miss. Can't we ask at night? Can't we ask at night? Matt, boil some water. Matt, boil some water. And nowadays almost everyone has a computer. And nowadays almost everyone has a computer. Were his grandparents salesmen? Were his grandparents salesmen? We went to Paris for our honeymoon. We went to Paris for our honeymoon. We are closed on weekends. We are closed on weekends. You are the daily counselor. You are the daily counselor. Didn't they get married later? Didn't they get married later? Proving your opinion is not enough. Proving your opinion is not enough. Pull together and we will succeed. Pull together and we will succeed. But during the time we worked, it mostly did the front-end work. But during the time we worked, it mostly did the front-end work. Teachers will evaluate homework all weekend. Teachers will evaluate homework all weekend. The international community is interested in promoting peace and security. The international community is interested in promoting peace and security. Were their stepmothers garbage collectors? Were their stepmothers garbage collectors? What did I touch? What did I touch? Does he manage at sunrise? Does he manage at sunrise? You can't smoke here. You can't smoke here. I'm not a Czech. I'm not a Czech. The party will have already started when we arrive. The party will have already started when we arrive. Then I limit. Then I limit. I'm behind you. I'm behind you. Still, there are some unanswered questions. Still, there are some unanswered questions. Didn't we invite you every day? Didn't we invite you every day? Are there relatives managers? Are there relatives managers? They will not attack. They will not attack. His goal is to become a doctor. His goal is to become a doctor. The relationship between my father and me is complicated. The relationship between my father and me is complicated. Untimely. Untimely. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. Our customer service 24. Our customer service 24. After 2 hours should not train. After 2 hours should not train. Are your kids rappers? Are your kids rappers? Can I learn weekly? Can I learn weekly? Should not recognize. Should not recognize. It may not be cold after 4 weeks. It may not be cold after 4 weeks. Were his half-brothers pipe players? Were his half-brothers pipe players? Were their uncles merchants? Were their uncles merchants? I will program the right thing. I will program the right thing. Are their cousins marketers? Are their cousins marketers? Am I not a potter now? Am I not a potter now? Is her husband a priest? Is her husband a priest? Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we fail. Is your stepdaughter a football player? Is your stepdaughter a football player? Can I grow old? Can I grow old? Did he agree at sunset? Did he agree at sunset? Stepmother cook. Stepmother cook. Where are you going? Where are you going? To I can't breathe. To I can't breathe. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this job. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this job. Your children were researchers. Your children were researchers. Don't I have to be a watchman after 5 months? Don't I have to be a watchman after 5 months? I will always admire him for his courage. I will always admire him for his courage. Enjoying next year. Enjoying next year. They cannot lie. They cannot lie. Is his stepson a publisher? Is his stepson a publisher? Can he become a pathologist after 2 years? Can he become a pathologist after 2 years? The chef will prepare a special meal for the guests. The chef will prepare a special meal for the guests. Can't they escape sometimes? Can't they escape sometimes? He was playing chess with his friend in the park. He was playing chess with his friend in the park. Can't they climb for 2 weeks? Can't they climb for 2 weeks? You will not be an industrialist for 10 years. You will not be an industrialist for 10 years. Usually we can't. Usually we can't. 5 years later he can take care of it. 5 years later he can take care of it. Like other teams. Like other teams. Are you a player then? Are you a player then? I am happy that I have a healthy heart and can hear well. I am happy that I have a healthy heart and can hear well. I don't want to lose my magazines for the machine. I don't want to lose my magazines for the machine. Couldn't find information on the subject. Couldn't find information on the subject. Can they be lifeguards? Can they be lifeguards? I've been CEO every year. I've been CEO every year. Yes, we have an indoor pool. Yes, we have an indoor pool. Will he become a foreman in 3 months? Will he become a foreman in 3 months? Your grandson was. Your grandson was. Cashier 4 years ago. Cashier 4 years ago. Your half-sister is the librarian. Your half-sister is the librarian. Their husbands were accountants. Their husbands were accountants. Didn't it happen? Didn't it happen? Can't get on after 4 seconds? Can't get on after 4 seconds? May become a urologist a year. May become a urologist a year. Should he become a consultant right away? Should he become a consultant right away? His mother was a firefighter. His mother was a firefighter. I can blame. I can blame. John will check more this week. John will check more this week. I have to request one later in the morning. I have to request one later in the morning. Still, some questions remain unanswered. Still, some questions remain unanswered. Won't you be born in 15 days? Won't you be born in 15 days? Are you an announcer after a weekend? Are you an announcer after a weekend? Your stepfather was the referee. Your stepfather was the referee. They wouldn't last. They wouldn't last. We can argue. We can argue. Do I say thank you at 1 a.m. later? Do I say thank you at 1 a.m. later? You shouldn't do pottery next year. You shouldn't do pottery next year. I am more valuable than you. I am more valuable than you. I'm in the room with the plants. I'm in the room with the plants. Is common. Is common. What did you use? What did you use? My favorite hobby is playing the guitar. My favorite hobby is playing the guitar. Couldn't he then race at 3 a.m.? Couldn't he then race at 3 a.m.? He is an American citizen. He is an American citizen. Do you have to design every month? Do you have to design every month? I read a book after lunch. I read a book after lunch. Don't you always have to insist? Don't you always have to insist? Hi John. Omar asked me the following question. What answer to him? Hi John. Omar asked me the following question. What answer to him? Can I choose? Can I choose? Not everyone is as honest as you. Not everyone is as honest as you. Weakly decided? Weakly decided? They gratefully accepted the gift. They gratefully accepted the gift. Can't support? Can't support? Can you talk about the afternoon? Can you talk about the afternoon? I can't train often. I can't train often. Did it fall at sunrise? Did it fall at sunrise? Could you butcher last year? Could you butcher last year? It's so good to hear. It's so good to hear. I was working 2 years later. I was working 2 years later. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm going to the movies with my friends. I'm going to the movies with my friends. If yes, have you had any problems with it? If yes, have you had any problems with it? Weren't we lawyers 2 minutes ago? Weren't we lawyers 2 minutes ago? Fill in for performance excel. Fill in for performance excel. Extra fit and fair man is my favorite fair. Extra fit and fair man is my favorite fair. Shouldn't they kiss? Shouldn't they kiss? Please keep your follow-up appointments for follow-up. Please keep your follow-up appointments for follow-up. Was his uncle a doctor? Was his uncle a doctor? May object. May object. Can he judge often? Can he judge often? You have to plan at sunset. You have to plan at sunset. Basketball players will practice shooting for hours. Basketball players will practice shooting for hours. Will you not increase? Will you not increase? May I see your ticket, please? May I see your ticket, please? He is the drummer. He is the drummer. Can't you meet? Can't you meet? Shall we ship after 3 nights? Shall we ship after 3 nights? My son came home last night. My son came home last night. Could attack every year. Could attack every year. Can't come after 3 months? Can't come after 3 months? Insecure. Insecure. What is your email address? What is your email address? I am good. I am good. Do you think it helps? Do you think it helps? He went to the mall. He went to the mall. I can't work after 2 weeks. I can't work after 2 weeks. Do you like hiking? Do you like hiking? Don't we need to provide? Don't we need to provide? Your neighbor is a partner. Your neighbor is a partner. Cultural diversity is celebrated in the city. Cultural diversity is celebrated in the city. Should it be tested after 4 nights? Should it be tested after 4 nights? It's okay. I'm not angry. It's okay. I'm not angry. Travel agency 3 months ago. Travel agency 3 months ago. Does it improve? Does it improve? I will take a deep breath. I will take a deep breath. Won't you fix? Won't you fix? What is your favorite animal? What is your favorite animal? Could not pass. Could not pass. 1 year later you will jump. 1 year later you will jump. Please give me time, let me see. Please give me time, let me see. Otherwise, you will never reach your full potential. Otherwise, you will never reach your full potential. Why not monthly? Why not monthly? He can't care. He can't care. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? We should never return. We should never return. Used to be a virologist. Used to be a virologist. I'll give you a list of words to review for your next lesson. I'll give you a list of words to review for your next lesson. Will it fail after 1 day? Will it fail after 1 day? Evaluate the technology. Evaluate the technology. We rented a cottage by the lake for our vacation. We rented a cottage by the lake for our vacation. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. I have 1 child. I have 1 child. Shouldn't they imply next year? Shouldn't they imply next year? Can I always make cream? Can I always make cream? I have to learn everything from scratch. I have to learn everything from scratch. He was an anthropologist at the time. He was an anthropologist at the time. If there is no chance of rain, I will go out. If there is no chance of rain, I will go out. We are contacting you. We are contacting you. His friend was a playwright. His friend was a playwright. Can you analyze? Can you analyze? Keep doing. Keep doing. He goes to the library every week. He goes to the library every week. They can analyze immediately. They can analyze immediately. Don't you appreciate? Don't you appreciate? Can I explain at noon? Can I explain at noon? Accompany. Accompany. I'm going to the gym tonight. I'm going to the gym tonight. I don't touch my nose with my elbow. I don't touch my nose with my elbow. Should I put it then? Should I put it then? They can be interviewers next year. They can be interviewers next year. My wife is the driver. My wife is the driver. He was fixing his car in the garage. He was fixing his car in the garage. You can injure immediately. You can injure immediately. Do you have any allergies? Do you have any allergies? Base layer did not. Base layer did not. Sensitive. Sensitive. Were my cousins actors? Were my cousins actors? I bought a new shirt at the mall. I bought a new shirt at the mall. Weren't you a team? Weren't you a team? Also, please take a look. Also, please take a look. We are contacting you. We are contacting you. Should the nutritionist be 2 weeks? Should the nutritionist be 2 weeks? Doesn't say much. Doesn't say much. I feel like I'm dreaming. I feel like I'm dreaming. I'll kiss you if you promise to be a good boy. I'll kiss you if you promise to be a good boy. Should we strictly follow these guidelines? Should we strictly follow these guidelines? I don't shoot at noon. I don't shoot at noon. What is your favorite TV show? What is your favorite TV show? Don't we believe? Don't we believe? Which is your favorite river? Which is your favorite river? They gratefully accepted the gift. They gratefully accepted the gift. Can I say every week? Can I say every week? Chatty. Chatty. He will work on his project all night. He will work on his project all night. His parents were advertisers. His parents were advertisers. His colleague was a businessman. His colleague was a businessman. Shouldn't he forget every week? Shouldn't he forget every week? Can you bring it right now? Can you bring it right now? His grandmother was a naturalist. His grandmother was a naturalist. You take note. You take note. His cousins were nutritionists. His cousins were nutritionists. I will pass the law at tonight's meeting. I will pass the law at tonight's meeting. Is your son a laundress? Is your son a laundress? Should take a step. Should take a step. We must refuse at sunset. We must refuse at sunset. Let's make our own personal opening. Let's make our own personal opening. Didn't she wait? Didn't she wait? I'm going to teach someone English. I'm going to teach someone English. Industrialist did? Industrialist did? Wouldn't it connect? Wouldn't it connect? Build, grow. Build, grow. Remaining tickets. Remaining tickets. He shouldn't be dealing with her at noon. He shouldn't be dealing with her at noon. Will he be a banker now? Will he be a banker now? How long will he stay in Japan? How long will he stay in Japan? Wouldn't it be a monthly horseman? Wouldn't it be a monthly horseman? Is their spouse a hairdresser? Is their spouse a hairdresser? Didn't they get married later? Didn't they get married later? Descendants are sailors. Descendants are sailors. Very little. Very little. Wouldn't the blacksmith be 10 years? Wouldn't the blacksmith be 10 years? We traveled to New York. We traveled to New York. The wind was blowing my hair and I was feeling very alive. The wind was blowing my hair and I was feeling very alive. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. We can vote now. We can vote now. Is my stepdad a therapist? Is my stepdad a therapist? Not a trainer after 1 week. Not a trainer after 1 week. Do they judge at sunset? Do they judge at sunset? Hasn't he passed? Hasn't he passed? Then I have to take it out. Then I have to take it out. I think it's best to come home with us. I think it's best to come home with us. I will make a cake. I will make a cake. Don't I have to be a watchman after 5 months? Don't I have to be a watchman after 5 months? Isn't he a translator after 5 centuries? Isn't he a translator after 5 centuries? They can always take aim. They can always take aim. We have everything. We have everything. Can it suffer every year? Can it suffer every year? Should they insist? Should they insist? Was your stepmother a poet? Was your stepmother a poet? Can I train 5 weeks ago? Can I train 5 weeks ago? We go to the mountains for camping trips. We go to the mountains for camping trips. Not sure if I'm following, but can you give me an example? Not sure if I'm following, but can you give me an example? Neighbors or teachers. Neighbors or teachers. Do you ship every week? Do you ship every week? We couldn't hide. We couldn't hide. Are our grandchildren truckers? Are our grandchildren truckers? He was a swimmer an hour ago. He was a swimmer an hour ago. His colleague is a lieutenant. His colleague is a lieutenant. Don't they run? Don't they run? Can you extend it? Can you extend it? Your grandson was a gymnast. Your grandson was a gymnast. I'm going to the office. I'm going to the office. Both of us. Both of us. His brother-in-law was a sportscaster. His brother-in-law was a sportscaster. There may not be a courier at dusk. There may not be a courier at dusk. We cannot move until the transported truck arrives. We cannot move until the transported truck arrives. Can you appear? Can you appear? We couldn't think. We couldn't think. I was late because I missed the bus. I was late because I missed the bus. Do I accept your offer? Do I accept your offer? I would love to see your photos again. I would love to see your photos again. I can often do a hematologist. I can often do a hematologist. Would report. Would report. I can't believe it's worth $1 billion. I can't believe it's worth $1 billion. We only have one bedroom in our house. We only have one bedroom in our house. Rarely use. Rarely use. I disagree. I disagree. His stepson is a race car driver? His stepson is a race car driver? Was your mother a fighter? Was your mother a fighter? I wrote a short story for my English class. I wrote a short story for my English class. It's 8:15. It's 8:15. It is called. It is called. I can vote. I can vote. Can they see 5 years ago? Can they see 5 years ago? We can't leave sooner. We can't leave sooner. I will be the most successful person in the world. I will be the most successful person in the world. I'm in the room with the chairs. I'm in the room with the chairs. He had never seen Ankara before. He had never seen Ankara before. We may not be able to talk later. We may not be able to talk later. Why did you tell me it's just a stressful time? Why did you tell me it's just a stressful time? Can we set up a meeting to discuss the progress of the project? Can we set up a meeting to discuss the progress of the project? Let me tag you in the chat about which topic they are talking about. Let me tag you in the chat about which topic they are talking about. Could you please explain the situation to me? Could you please explain the situation to me? I will go for a walk. I will go for a walk. I need to break this bad habit. I need to break this bad habit. Okay, then I don't do anything. Okay, then I don't do anything. Are you responsible? Are you responsible? He creates. He creates. You would dance. You would dance. We knew from the beginning that this would be a difficult task. We knew from the beginning that this would be a difficult task. It may rain tomorrow. It may rain tomorrow. I will work. I will work. Can they see? Can they see? Once a day. Once a day. As we talked. As we talked. I will be the most popular person in the world. I will be the most popular person in the world. We can cry. We can cry. I replied 5 months ago. I replied 5 months ago. Don't you look? Don't you look? Can I push weekly? Can I push weekly? Should not object. Should not object. Will not sort. Will not sort. Was Mr. Tandy a teacher last week? Was Mr. Tandy a teacher last week? Do they usually play games? Do they usually play games? You can defend. You can defend. They will answer. They will answer. Were our brothers referees? Were our brothers referees? He had been to the beach many times before, but he never got old. He had been to the beach many times before, but he never got old. Road map. Road map. Should not break. Should not break. Do you know how to keep a secret? Do you know how to keep a secret? I'm going to kindergarten. I'm going to kindergarten. Your stepdaughter was on the jury. Your stepdaughter was on the jury. We must abide by the rules and regulations. We must abide by the rules and regulations. There is always a chance to win the lottery. There is always a chance to win the lottery. I can't convince him to come with us. I can't convince him to come with us. Won't I be a sportscaster sometimes? Won't I be a sportscaster sometimes? We cannot increase. We cannot increase. I go to the market to buy something to eat for my family. I go to the market to buy something to eat for my family. Let me see yours. Let me see yours. Sort. Sort. Can't they fill? Can't they fill? It can be a nighttime cream. It can be a nighttime cream. Performance Excel is filled. Performance Excel is filled. Should not focus. Should not focus. They bartender every year. They bartender every year. Her nephews are nurses. Her nephews are nurses. They may not forget weekly. They may not forget weekly. Can you provide account information? Can you provide account information? Do you have an apple? Do you have an apple? You will learn to play a musical instrument. You will learn to play a musical instrument. The house is beyond the borders of civilization. The house is beyond the borders of civilization. Their wives are postmen. Their wives are postmen. Was our grandmother the owner? Was our grandmother the owner? Did they respond to our request for a quiet room? Did they respond to our request for a quiet room? Can he vote? Can he vote? Our grandfather was a journalist. Our grandfather was a journalist. Is her brother a stylist? Is her brother a stylist? I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. We can't be editors in the twilight. We can't be editors in the twilight. We must act quickly. We must act quickly. Can they be night watchmen at noon? Can they be night watchmen at noon? I'm not sure I can help you. I'm not sure I can help you. His daughter was an actuary. His daughter was an actuary. Can you help me with this math problem? Can you help me with this math problem? Such things are under my attention. Such things are under my attention. I don't like meat very much. I don't like meat very much. You should not use shortcuts while completing tasks. You should not use shortcuts while completing tasks. I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. My wife was a preacher. My wife was a preacher. You are not normally a cashier. You are not normally a cashier. May not be a monthly governor. May not be a monthly governor. Can he always finish? Can he always finish? I wouldn't start. I wouldn't start. I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair. I'm in the room with 3 showers. I'm in the room with 3 showers. Is her grandmother a golfer? Is her grandmother a golfer? His cousins were industrialists. His cousins were industrialists. I was with Tom. I was with Tom. He will write a book. He will write a book. Please enter your email address for the newsletter. Please enter your email address for the newsletter. I actually prefer coffee to tea. I actually prefer coffee to tea. Did he share? Did he share? Can you become a psychologist every year? Can you become a psychologist every year? Format. Format. Can I cover? Can I cover? It is called. It is called, you won't talk later. You won't talk later. Will he not create? Will he not create? A century later he wouldn't like it. A century later he wouldn't like it. You have to defend yourself. You have to defend yourself. Didn't you read 2 weeks ago? Didn't you read 2 weeks ago? It can be published after 4 weeks. It can be published after 4 weeks. Can't I suspect? Can't I suspect? Usually not accepted. Usually not accepted. Descendants are workers. Descendants are workers. Didn't they eat? Didn't they eat? Consider the impact of your actions before making a decision. Consider the impact of your actions before making a decision. They shouldn't be interested in the afternoon. They shouldn't be interested in the afternoon. They must become archaeologists immediately. They must become archaeologists immediately. Would they destroy? Would they destroy? After 2 weeks it wouldn't. After 2 weeks it wouldn't. Were her aunts civil servants? Were her aunts civil servants? Can they insist right away? Can they insist right away? I'm in the next room. I'm in the next room. They were playing basketball in the gym after school. They were playing basketball in the gym after school. I'm behind you. I'm behind you. By other name. By other name. His sister was a window cleaner. His sister was a window cleaner. Should not be placed in the normal way. Should not be placed in the normal way. Shouldn't he be the minister in 5 days? Shouldn't he be the minister in 5 days? I have a runny nose. I have a runny nose. Can it break after 2 nights? Can it break after 2 nights? I'll go tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow. We should not send. We should not send. Are there kids waitresses? Are there kids waitresses? His grandfather was an inventor. His grandfather was an inventor. Did I burn? Did I burn? By the time we meet, he will have been working for 6 hours. By the time we meet, he will have been working for 6 hours. Was your wife a pharmacist? Was your wife a pharmacist? Will he use it right away? Will he use it right away? We must complete. We must complete. Songwriter 2 later in the morning? Songwriter 2 later in the morning? Can you meet me later? Can you meet me later? Should we pause before continuing? Should we pause before continuing? Should have last year. Should have last year. Not focused soon? Not focused soon?